It's 1994, and it's Halloween night. Your friend tosses you a can of shoe polish and tells you to put some on. You feel like a fish out of water. Have you ever heard something, read something, or watched something where you just thought, wow, that's totally inaccurate? Well, I've been studying blackface and yellowface for the past couple of weeks, and their portrayal in media throughout the years are inaccurate, and some stereotypes have persisted until today. I'll be talking about the history of blackface and yellowface, some stereotypes, and how modern media is trying to address those two topics today. To start off with the history of blackface, we can go all the way back to the 1780s with Lewis Hallam Jr., an Anglo-Saxon male who first did blackface when he played an inebriated black man in a play. It wasn't popularized until the 1820s when Thomas Rice created the character Jim Crow and made the song Jump Jim Crow. And you might recognize Jim Crow from the Jim Crow laws, which segregated the black and white communities. After that, during the 1860s, African Americans adopted blackface in order to perform on stage. If you're an African American and you wanted to be an entertainer, the only way for you to be able to do that was to act out blackface. And you might think, oh, you can't do blackface if you're already black, right? But you're wrong. The audiences were predominantly white, and when they saw African Americans doing blackface, they thought, wow, this is totally authentic, this is real. But it actually wasn't, because African Americans had to emulate whatever whites would do to them. They would act out how outrageous white people perceive them to be, and as a result, these stereotypes have just persisted until modern times. And moving on to yellowface, we can fast forward a few decades to 1904, where the opera Madame Butterfly was released in Italy, and the film, which actually incorporates yellowface, came out in 1914. The character in question that uses yellowface is Cho-Cho-san, the wife of a white Navy sailor. And according to Rogers, the actress, Mary Crockett, was asked to act more submissive and diminutive to be more like whatever white people perceived Asians to be. And fasting forward onto the 1961 with the film Breakfast at Tiffany's, a very famous film. The neighbor, Mr. Yonioshi, to Holly was actually Mickey Rooney, a white male playing a Japanese man, and he wore buck teeth, thick accent, the whole 9 yards on this character to try and be an Asian person. Moving along to some stereotypes. African Americans are usually seen, in the minstrel shows, African Americans are usually seen as buffoonish, really lazy thieves, stealing things, and just being dangerous. And these shows would just portray African Americans as less than, and it actually made fun at the entire race at their expense, basically. And for yellowface, it was just also less than. They're seen as diminutive and studious, just exotic people. But they're really just generalizing what they see as like the one outlier, and as a result, you get black or yellow face. Today, modern media has been trying to address these with some humor, and you can see from movies such as Tropic Thunder, where Robert Downey Jr. plays a man playing another guy who is a black soldier in the Vietnam War. This isn't really poking fun at blackface, because he's actually poking fun at actors who try to do anything it takes to try to do the best at their job. And you can see how ridiculous it is from this movie. Another form of modern media which is trying to address this is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You can see Mac and Dee both playing blackface in this photo, and it just looks ridiculous. And you're not making fun at blackface. You're making fun at how ridiculous the characters are who are portraying blackface and how ignorant they are. And even though modern media is using blackface to make fun at the people who do it, it's still a controversial thing to actually do, because you're making light of a very dehumanizing act that these people do, and you're making light of it. So, in closing, I've talked about the history of black and yellow face, a couple of stereotypes, and how these two things have shaped society's views on African Americans and Asians until today. So, flash forward to 2017, it's Halloween night, and your friend tosses you a can of shoe polish and says we're going out as the iconic duo Will Smith and Carlton Banks. What would you do in this situation with everything that you just learned?